Hey all, welcome to Homeschool and welcome back to Class 11 Chemistry series. We started with Structure of Atom chapter. In that we have already covered so much of concept. We started with atomic models, right? In my previous video, I covered Rutherford's model of an atom as well as Thomson's model, whose link is provided in the description. You can just go and check it out if you have not yet watched. Fine. Coming to today's class, we are going to discuss about Bohr's atomic model. But before going to Bohr's atomic model, you must understand few developments towards the Bohr's model. You know, just based on the Rutherford's model, Bohr has not given his model. Before he gave his model, before he gave certain postulates, he studied about two important things. One is about dual nature of electromagnetic radiation. The other one is about atomic spectra. You know what? All these atoms, in whichever the matter may be, it is made up of atoms, and all these atoms interact with radiation. Okay, these atoms interact with light in a certain way. So Bohr have observed that interaction with light, and based on the atoms, how they interact with light, he gave his postulates. So let us study about this radiations and how atoms can interact with the radiation, right? Fine. So there are two developments towards Bohr's model that we are going to study. They are, okay, let me first write the heading of today's topic. Developments towards Bohr's model. See, the first development is dual nature of electromagnetic radiation. This is really very, very important. See here, you must know what actually we mean by electromagnetic radiation, right? And definitely, I will give that feel of understanding for you. Say, I'll take you all to a depth of this electromagnetic radiation. So, and the next development that we are going to study is something about atomic spectra. So, when these atoms interact with light, you know, how they appear, what actually they produce, and there is something called spectra. So, what do you mean by spectra? Everything about spectra we will study under this heading. Right? So the today's class is about understanding the dual nature of electromagnetic radiation. Okay, so let me keep the heading as dual nature. So what do you mean by dual nature? Can you all tell me the meaning of the word dual? Right, dual nature of electromagnetic radiation, EMR. We can write it as EMR in short. Fine. The dual nature in the sense, two different natures. Okay, our electromagnetic radiations has two different nature, right? Our electromagnetic radiation can behave as wave. That's what we call wave nature. And these radiations can behave as particles also, right? So that's what we mean by particle nature, right? Okay. So many of you would be wondering what actually these electromagnetic radiations are, how they are produced, what are the different types of electromagnetic radiations. First, let us discuss that aspect. Okay, so I am going to talk about the so-called electromagnetic radiation. So what are this electromagnetic radiation and how they are caused? You know what, you would be wondering, even a human body can produce electromagnetic radiations. Okay, each and every living system has the ability to produce electromagnetic radiations. See, these electromagnetic radiations have different types. You know, there are various types. First, let me tell you, how do you get this electromagnetic radiation? Okay, see, every object, you take an object, okay, object can be a living system or a non-living. Okay, you take a particular matter. Okay, let me take a brick here. Okay, or you can take a stone, or you can take a human body, or whatever may be. Object is something. Okay, and we all know this object is made up of atoms, right? So object has so many atoms. Every object you take, living or non-living, it is made up of atoms, right? And we all know atoms has electrons. Okay, so we have something called electrons and protons. And you know what? These electrons and protons are charged bodies, right? So they are charged bodies. They are charged particles, I can say. So when these charged particles continuously oscillate, so when they oscillate with certain acceleration, okay, when they oscillate with certain acceleration. So what do you mean by this? When they continuously move with certain speed, right? So oscillating with acceleration means what? When they continuously move with certain speed, you know what? They produce electric and magnetic field. Produce electric field, and wherever electric field is there, and if that is keeps on changing, if that electric field keeps on changing, there creates magnetic field also. Okay, so whenever you have a changing electric field, you will also observe magnetic field near to that. Okay, so that's how electric and magnetic fields are produced due to continuous movement of these charged particles with certain speed. Okay, say why they vibrate. The first question is when they vibrate. Okay, let me oscillate, in the sense you can consider it as vibrate. Okay, in a simple way, in a layman language, right? So when these electrons or protons, when they vibrate with certain speed, and you know they produce that electric field, and that electric field continuously changes. Changing electric field always produces magnetic field. Okay, so the question is why they oscillate, why they vibrate. It's because each and every body has a certain amount of heat. Okay, so if you take a human body, even we have certain amount of heat within us. So this heat is responsible for the movement or for the vibrations of these electrons. So when they vibrate continuously with certain speed, you know, they produce electric field and magnetic field. So these field who travel in the atmosphere. Okay, so they will travel. They can travel in the form of wave. That's what we call wave nature. And they can also travel in the form of particles. That's what we call particle nature. Okay, so this is how our electric and magnetic fields are produced when a charged particle oscillates with certain acceleration. That means when a charged particle vibrates with certain speed. Clear? So every object has a charged particles. Every object has electrons, protons, you know, charged bodies are there. So when they vibrate with certain speed, it emits radiations. Okay, that radiation itself means, you know, the combination of electric field and magnetic field. Okay, so this is what we call electromagnetic radiation. Right? Okay, and now in this class, we mainly discuss about the wave nature of electromagnetic radiation. Okay, so this combination of electric and magnetic field itself we call electromagnetic radiation. Is that clear? So hope how electromagnetic radiations are produced is very much clear for you. And now we will go for you know, how they travel in the form of a wave. Clear? Okay, so coming to your wave nature of electromagnetic radiation, you know what, you know, if this is a direction of propagation of wave, say this is a source, imagine this is a source and this is a target. Okay, so electromagnetic radiations are produced in a source and they have to reach at this point. Okay, so they are traveling in this direction, say they are traveling in this particular direction. Okay, say from a source you will have both electric field and magnetic field, right? You see here, you know what, this is you know, the wave of electric field. Think that this is the wave of electric field. Okay, see, this particular electric field wave is traveling perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Okay, so this is your direction. say this line, whatever I have drawn, no? So this is direction of propagation. Propagation in the sense direction of movement, right? Direction of traveling, right? And this is your electric field. You see this particular wave is traveling perpendicular to the direction of propagation, right? It's also traveling in the same direction, but it's traveling, the wave is perpendicular, right? The wave is perpendicular here. And now there is magnetic field that can be generated. Wherever electric field is there, magnetic field also would be there. So you know what, magnetic field wave travels like this. You see, this is the wave of magnetic field. Okay, you see here, magnetic field wave is perpendicular to the electric field. Okay, so here both magnetic field and electric field waves are perpendicular to each other, and they are perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Clear? So let me write that point here. Electric field and magnetic field, okay, waves are perpendicular to each other, and both are perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Okay, so this is how they travel in the atmosphere. Both electric and magnetic fields are there, but how do they travel? They are perpendicular to each other. Okay, so see, if this is a magnetic field, and you know electric field wave would be like this. Okay, so this is the magnetic field wave and this is the electric field wave, and both would travel in the same direction. Okay, but just they are perpendicular to each other. The waves are perpendicular to each other. Okay, and both are perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Clear? So this is the first property of electromagnetic radiation, right? Fine. And coming to the second property, they travel. Okay, so they travel in vacuum. They can able to travel in vacuum, and they don't need any medium to travel. Okay, so no need of any medium to travel. So this is very, very important. And if you take sound wave, water waves, you know, they need a medium, right? Without a medium, they cannot travel. But these electromagnetic radiations do not require any medium. Okay. And the next point is, they are characterized, these electromagnetic radiations are characterized by certain properties. Okay, characterized by certain properties. So what are the properties of these electromagnetic radiations? You know, we have something called frequency. This is the symbol of frequency and it is called as nu. Okay, fine. And the next one is you have something called wavelength. So wave is always characterized with the help of a property called wavelength, right? And then velocity and wave number. So these are the different properties of electromagnetic radiation. I mean, each and every electromagnetic wave can be defined or characterized with the help of these properties. Okay, so they are frequency, velocity, wavelength and wave number. So wavelength symbol is this lambda. We will call it as lambda. And wave number is nu bar. Okay, and velocity of electromagnetic radiation is indicated with the letter C. Clear? And now let us understand what do you mean by wavelength, frequency, velocity and wave number. So the first thing is, let me talk about the wavelength. So what do you mean by wavelength? See, we all know how does a wave appear, right? So this is how a wave looks. And you know the topmost end, we will call it as crest, right? And this point we will call it as trough. Okay, and again this is crust, and this is trough. right? And the distance between two crusts or the distance between two troughs is called wavelength. Okay, so this much is called as one wave actually. So this much, okay, it should include one crust and one trough. So this much is one wave actually, right? So it is the distance. Wavelength is nothing but the distance between the two crusts and or the two troughs is called as wavelength. Okay, so what do I write here? Wavelength is nothing but distance. It is the distance between two crusts is called wavelength. Okay, so which is indicated with the letter lambda. Okay, so wavelength is always measured in meters, nanometers, picometers and all that. So we mainly take up wavelength of electromagnetic radiation in angstrom or nanometers. Okay, so we have 1 angstrom is equal to 10 to the power minus 10 meters, and 1 nanometer is equal to 10 to the power minus 9 meters. So at least try to remember these unit conversions. Okay, so it is just a distance. We are not taking it in meters because these electromagnetic radiations, few of them have very small wavelength. Okay, so we measure them in angstrom or in nanometer. So 1 angstrom is always this much meter and 1 nanometer is always 10 to the power minus 9 meter. Okay, so these unit conversions are important here, right? Okay, and now let me go for frequency. So what actually we mean by frequency? It's very simple. Frequency, which is indicated with a letter nu. We call this as nu. Okay, it's nothing but number of waves. Okay, so one wave is how much? This much. Okay, so one crust and one trough makes one wave. Okay, so number of waves crossing a particular point in 1 second is called as frequency. Number of waves, okay, passing a particular point in 1 second is called as frequency. Say in 1 second, if two waves are passing this point, we call it as frequency is 2 hertz. Hertz is the unit of frequency. Okay, so what is the unit? Unit is hertz. There is something called hertz. Hertz is the unit of frequency. Okay, so whenever I say 2 hertz, in the sense what do you mean by 2 hertz? It is 2 waves passing a particular point in 1 second. Okay, so that's what the meaning of frequency. So if I have to write its definition, I can write this way. It is the number of waves passing a point in 1 second is called as frequency. Okay, fine. And now let us talk about velocity. Okay, see, velocity is nothing but the speed, right? Say speed of light in vacuum is always a constant value. You have to remember that. I am talking about speed of light. So light is a form of electromagnetic radiation. So speed of light in vacuum is around 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. Okay, got to know? So this value you have to remember, right? It's very, very important to calculate some numericals. Fine. And now actually this C, nu, okay, and lambda are related with each other. So we have a formula, C is equal to nu lambda. So this is really a very, very important formula. See, just logically you think, what do you mean by speed? Speed is nothing but what? Something that traveled a particular distance in some time, right? Say I wrote C is equal to nu lambda. So what is lambda here? This is wavelength. This is wavelength. It's nothing but a particular distance. Wavelength is what? It's some part of a wave, right? I can say it's like a distance, right? So distance. And what do you mean by frequency? Frequency is the number of waves passing in 1 second, right? So number of waves passing in 1 second. So it is telling something about the time. right? So I can always, logically speaking, our velocity will be equal to wavelength and frequency. Okay, so what is nu? It is frequency, right? So this is very, very important. And always our wavelength, okay, wavelength, from this equation, if I have to write lambda, it is lambda is equal to c by nu, right? C by nu. Say that means our lambda is inversely proportional to nu. Okay, so both wavelength and frequency are inversely proportional to each other. Here everyone, so this is a very, very important formula that you will be using to calculate some numericals. Here, when you know lambda of some radiation, you can calculate frequency. Okay, so when you know frequency of some radiation, you can calculate lambda. Okay, for a particular radiation, if you have more wavelength, then it will have least frequency, right? Say imagine if something is a bigger wave. Okay, if something is a bigger wave, say if you have greater lambda you will observe in a bigger wave. So bigger waves always, less number of bigger waves only can cross a particular point in 1 second, right? If it's a smaller wave, if it is a smaller wave, then more number of waves can cross a particular point in a 1 second, right? So that's why, more the lambda, frequency is very much lesser the frequency, more will be the lambda, right? That's all about the wavelength, frequency and velocity. And next you have something called wave number, isn't it? So let us talk about the wave number. So this is a very, very important relation one must understand. And now let me talk about the fourth one, wave number. So this is very simple. Wave number has a symbol nu bar. Okay, it's nothing but 1 by lambda. Okay, so wave number is nothing but 1 by lambda. It's a reciprocal of wavelength, is called wave number, right? So what is its unit? Unit will be meter inverse. Wave number's unit will be meter inverse because it's 1 by lambda, right? So that's all about the various terms you need to remember. So all these wavelength, wave number, velocity and frequency, they are the characteristics of wave. Any wave can be defined with the help of these terms. Okay, and now we will study what are the different types of electromagnetic radiation and how they are arranged according to their increasing order of frequency or decreasing order of wavelength. Okay, that's what we call it as electromagnetic spectrum. Let's have an idea about electromagnetic spectrum now. See guys, there are various types of electromagnetic radiation actually. Say we have different heat energies in different objects, right? Say I told you when there is a heat energy, these charged particles will vibrate with certain speed and that produces electric and magnetic field into the atmosphere and they travel in the form of a wave, I said, right? And you know what, different bodies would have different heat energy. Say that's the reason different bodies would emit different types of electric and magnetic field. Okay, I mean they would have different frequencies and different wavelength. Say human body would produce electromagnetic radiation of some wavelength and the other object, okay, you take a brick, it can produce electromagnetic radiation of another wavelength, right? So this is how different objects would produce different electromagnetic radiations with different lambda values and frequencies. Okay, so that's how we have got different types of electromagnetic radiations. So what are the different types? The first one is gamma rays. Okay, so these gamma rays have very much high energy. Say if a body is heated to a large extent, if it is having too much of heat energy, it can produce this gamma rays. And then next one is X-rays. Okay, so X-rays are also high energy radiations, we say. And later you have UV rays. So these UV rays you will get it from sun, right? And then we have visible region. This is really very, very important for us in this chapter because the sunlight, the light that we see with our naked eyes is actually belongs to visible region. Okay, fine. And later comes IR, infrared radiation. IR in the sense what? Infrared radiation. And later you have microwaves. Okay, and then radio waves. So radio waves are used in telecommunications, right? Our radios and your TV, everything works on these radio waves and microwaves, right? So these are the different types of electromagnetic radiation. And now let us arrange them in the increasing order of their wavelength or decreasing order of their frequency. That's what we mean by electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, so let us move on to electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, so how do you define this electromagnetic spectrum? It is the arrangement. It's nothing but an arrangement of electromagnetic radiation in the increasing order of their wavelength. Let me just write it as lambda, of their wavelength, or decreasing order of their frequency, right? If lambda increases, frequency decreases. Okay, so just try to understand. Okay, say initially I will place gamma rays here. Okay, say let the lambda be here 10 to the power of minus 16 to 10 to the power of 8. Okay, you see the lambda, see lambda, increasing lambda, right? So increasing lambda, right? So 10 to the power of minus 16 meters to 10 to the power of 8 meters, say lambda value increasing. So automatically frequency decreases, right? Say the frequency of gamma rays would be around 10 to the power of 24 hertz. Okay, and here the frequency of your radio waves will have around 10 to the power of 2 hertz only, right? So frequency decreases, lambda value increases. So what's happening here? Frequency decreasing. I'll write it as decreasing frequency. Okay, fine. So your gamma rays will have high frequency and less lambda. So I can say these are the rays with high energy. Okay, so more frequency in the sense their energy is also very much high. They are the most powerful radiations. They travel very fast and they are dangerous too. The radiations which have high frequency and high energy is always dangerous. Okay, so when we get exposed to gamma rays and X-rays, our cells will get damaged, right? And our DNA undergoes mutation. Right, so there are various changes do occur when we get exposed to these high energy radiations. Say high energy radiation means high frequency, less lambda. Okay, so when you have high frequency, in the sense what, number of waves are traveling so fast within a second, right? So always high energy radiations are dangerous. And the next placed our X-rays. Okay, so next comes your UV radiation, and after that visible region. Visible region is very, very important, and then comes your IR, and then microwaves, and then radio waves. Okay, clear? And now coming to visible region. Okay, again visible region is made up of 7 different colored radiation. Okay, say violet radiation, indigo radiation, blue radiation, okay, green radiation, yellow radiation, orange radiation, red radiation. In short, we call it as Vibgaya, right? So violet radiation has less lambda, and red radiation has more lambda, right? So here the wavelength range is 400 to 750 nanometer. So this range of wavelength belongs to visible region. So whatever the white light we are seeing with our naked eye, it's the combination of these colored radiation. And what is that white light wavelength range? It is from 400 nanometer to 750 nanometer. Okay, so this is all about our electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, so you can just observe, say these rays which have very high frequency and less lambda, so they are actually the smaller waves. Okay, and as you go on, and radio waves are much bigger waves. Radio waves are much bigger waves. They have maximum lambda and minimum frequency. Okay, so actually radio waves have a size just like a tall building. You can just imagine a tall 20 floor building or 10 floor building, how tall it will be. So you know that much taller and bigger waves you will observe in case of radio waves. Radio waves are that big. Okay, whereas your X-rays or gamma rays are very small radiations. Okay, so they are smaller waves. Clear? So I think now you got an idea about what's the difference between X-rays and radio waves, right? So just radio waves are very, very bigger waves and longer waves, whereas X-rays are very smaller waves. Clear? So since they are very small waves and they travel with high speed, okay, and that's the reason we say they have very high energy. Right? Say it depends. Say some bodies would produce X-rays, some bodies would produce radio waves. It depends on the object. It depends on the internal heat energy that the object has. Okay, so different objects would produce different radiations like this. Right? So this is all about wave nature of electromagnetic radiation. And one more thing, wave nature of electromagnetic radiation is proved by two important phenomenon that we study in physics. Okay, say people said that okay, these electromagnetic radiations are moving in the form of a wave, right? Say what is the proof for that? The proof is the two important phenomenon. They are diffraction and interference. Okay, so let me write a note here. This is really very important. Wave nature of electromagnetic radiation is proved by, first one is interference, and second one is diffraction. Okay, so which you will study it in physics, but still some idea I'll give you. What do you mean by interference? Interference is nothing but mixing of waves. Okay, one wave can combine with another wave and it can travel as a bigger wave, right? So just put a stone in a water. Imagine this is a pond. This is some pond. Okay, so you put a stone here. What do you observe? You will observe a wave. You put another stone here. What do you observe? You would observe another wave, right? So slowly these waves would combine. Right? Say electromagnetic radiations also have this property, just like water waves. Okay, these are actually your water waves, right? So water waves can combine with each other and the resultant wave, the outcome wave is a very bigger wave. Right, I'm not going into a detailed aspects, just interference means mixing of waves, right? Just like a water waves, even these electromagnetic radiations can intermix with each other, right? So they are intermixing with each other and you know the resultant wave is much bigger. You know, it's all a characteristic of wave, right? So this interference experiments have proved that electromagnetic radiations have wave nature. Okay, and what do you mean by diffraction? Diffraction in the sense bending of radiation when it is passed through a slit. Okay, say for example, here there is a slit. Okay, this is some wall and here there is a slit, and I will pass electromagnetic radiations through this particular slit, and you know what? They appear in the form of wave. Right, so this is what we call diffraction. So bending of wave through a slit, right? So these radiations also do bend through a slit. That means they behave as a wave, right? So this is what the proof. These interference experiments and diffraction experiments are proof for telling electromagnetic radiations have wave character. Okay, so this is all about the wave nature of electromagnetic radiation. So the very important aspect that can be asked for competitive exams is the numericals on this particular formula. Okay, say C is equal to nu lambda. So various types of numericals that can be asked on this formula, which we will discuss in the next video. So do watch our next video for the numericals of this particular formula. Okay, so that's all about today's class. We will meet up in the next class.